Okay, so we're gonna start with today's lesson is gonna be more about reflexive verbs. So does anyone know what reflexive not reflexive verbs, but reflexive, like, I guess, pronouns in a way? Does anyone know what reflexive pronouns are? So when you say that I'm doing something by myself, or are you gonna do that yourself? When you say yourself, myself, themself, that is a reflexive word because you're referring to yourself doing something, but it's still like in the pronoun form because you're saying themself, yourself, myself. So, for example, anyone can answer this. When asking a person if they did something, right? You like if they did something, you ask, did you do it all by what? What would be the blank?
Yourself. Yourself.
Yourself?
Perfect. Yeah, yourself. Perfect. So the blank would be yourself. So then if someone asks you if you did something, what would you say? I did it all by
Myself?
perfect. Good job, Nathalie. Yeah, myself. And then if two or more people did something, you would say, so if you're referring to two people, you'd say, yes, they did that by what?
Themselves?
Yes, themselves. Good. So is everyone clear on that, or does anyone want more of an explanation? It's totally okay. Themselves. It's totally okay if you have any question or anything, because the whole point of this is learning. We're not grading anything, nothing, no grades or anything. We're just learning. So anyone have a question on that? You can unmute and just ask, and I can try and explain it better. Everyone understand that?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So then I'm gonna now ask, so I'll ask one of you to just try and form these sentences. If you don't know, just tell me you don't know, and I'll help you out, or I'll pass it off to another student. And so we'll do it that way. So this question will go to Isurika. So I'm going to ask you to form a sentence out of these words. So you have herself blamed what she for and happened. So I want you to make a sentence out of that, out of these words. It's okay. You can take your time.
What happened for blame herself?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What happened for blamed herself?
What happened blamed herself?
What happened for blamed herself?
What happened for blamed herself? Okay, so almost. We're missing the she, right? We don't have she in here, right? And the she changes a lot of things. So you can try again. So when you put the she in, it kind of rearranges the whole. So I'll give the first part. So I'll say that she blamed herself, right? She blamed herself, and then you can fill in the rest.
She blamed herself. What happened?
She blamed herself. I didn't hear after what you said.
What happened?
You're missing the for.
What happened?
So she blamed herself what happened for, or she blamed herself for what happened.
What happened?
Yeah, you got it. So she blamed herself for what happened. So you can put the herself here, right? Or as you'll see later on, you can move it on in different places. But so when you say she blamed, right, the verb, herself, because she's putting the blame on herself. So she is the same person that the action is happening. So that's why it's called reflexive, because it's same noun. Same noun is the verb is applying to. Does that make sense? It's okay if it doesn't. I can re-explain. Any question? No? Sure? Okay. So then we'll try the next one. I'll ask Siduka, Manumi, one of you can answer on the second one.
I brought
I brought, sorry,
I
you froze
brought
up. Yeah,
I brought a dictionary. I brought a dictionary myself.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Exactly. You can also, you could also say, I brought myself a dictionary. Both work. Both work. So sometimes for this, which is, it's a little confusing, but there can be more than one right answer. So for this, I brought a dictionary myself, or I brought myself a dictionary. Either way is correct. So for the next one, for number 3, I mean, everyone got that? Or any question? No questions? Okay. So then I will now ask, I'll ask Asiri to form this next sentence. I can't hear you. I don't know if
Cup of tea himself. He made a cup of tea himself.
he made a cup of
Cup of
tea.
tea himself.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct. So in this case, you could also say that he made himself a cup of tea. So here you notice that the verb is made, right? Made is a verb. So made, you can put right after the verb that the reflexive pronoun, that himself, right? So he made himself a cup of tea, but also in this case, he made a cup of tea himself. So it works in this case. Everyone get that?
No, it wasn't clear. Please, can you tell it again? I wasn't really able to hear it much.
That's okay. So what I'm saying is that for what I'm saying is that okay.
Can you just say the sentence you said again, please, teacher?
Sure. So he made a cup of tea himself, and he made himself a cup of tea. They're both correct, because for the English sentence structure, right, you have to have the application of the verb, right? The application of a verb to a noun, right? So the verb, right, made is applying, he made a cup of tea, right? It's still that made a cup of tea. It's still the same verb, but you can put this reflexive pronoun in between the verb and what it's applying to. Does that make more sense?
Oh, okay. Yes,
Okay,
yes, that did. Thank
okay,
you, teacher.
great. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So then moving on to fourth one, let's ask Nethua, would you like to make the sentence?
They arranged circle in a themselves.
They arrange
They arrange in a circle.
in a circle themselves.
Themselves.
Yeah, that works. That works. Can someone else tell me another way to make this?
They arrange themselves in a circle.
Circle.
Exactly. Exactly. Perfect. So I think now you all get it. I think all of you are starting to get it. We'll ask for the last one. Rasandu, can you hear me or no? Okay, that's okay. I'll ask Kisan, could you make the last one? Just one example?
Our kitten defended against the dog itself.
Perfect. That's right. And then can someone else make a second sentence?
Our kitten itself defended against the dog.
Our kitten itself defended against the dog. Yeah, that's also right. So that's just kind of the reflexive structure. It's a little confusing sometimes, but I think all of you understand it now a bit better. So the key takeaway is that you like to put the reflexive between our kitten itself defend against the dog. Actually, Nethula, this might not be quite correct. It's one you have to flip two words. Could you change two words? So you just have to move one word to another place.
Our kitten defended itself against the dog.
There you go. You got it. That's it. See? Yeah. So always, so the key takeaway is that you always want to have the verb here. Defended is the verb, and then the reflexive right after itself. So defended itself, arranged themselves, made himself, brought myself, blamed herself. Does that all make sense? Okay. So now for this first sentence, I want someone to tell me where they can insert the reflexive word. So the reflexive is herself, and then she admitted that it was wrong. So where would you put the word herself in this sentence? Anyone can answer. Isarika, do you want to give it a chance, a try? It's okay if you're wrong, no problem.
She admitted herself that it was wrong.
She, sorry, I didn't hear, could you repeat? I heard she admitted
Herself that
herself.
it was wrong.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Does anyone else want to give a second sentence for this?
She admitted what it was wrong herself,
She admitted what?
that it was wrong herself.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Next one. I'll ask Nethula. Where would you put himself in the sentence?
My father himself grows these vegetables.
Father himself grows these. So in this case, you want the himself to be after the verb, right? Because grows is the verb. So my father grows himself these vegetables, but that doesn't sound right, does it? Grows himself these vegetables. So even though this may be, yeah, see, it's saying cross out because even though like this follows the rule, this doesn't make sense quite. So this way isn't really the best way to write the sentence. The second way is, which is how would you write the second way, the sentence?
My father grows
My
these
father
vegetables himself.
grows the vegetables himself.
Yeah, both of you are right. My father grows these vegetables himself. Perfect. So this is the better one. This is the better one. So sometimes there are ways to write it that are better because this grows himself these vegetables is just it's not quite right. That's not no one really says this ever. So it's my father grows these vegetables himself. That's the real answer. So they built a house. Who wants to answer it?
They built a house themselves.
Yep, that's it. Built a house themselves, right? So this is the best way to write the sentence because if you try and write it the other way, right? They built themselves a house. This is also correct. This is also correct. Completely right. But this is more commonly said. So they built a house themselves. They built themselves a house. Both are about the same. At least in America, this is much more used. They built a house themselves. So that's the best answer. But also, this is if you said this, it would mean the same thing. So both are correct. Let's try. Let's call on someone. Siri, could you write the sentence?
The kitten cleaned itself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of the only one that's right. Right? Because if you wrote the kitten itself cleaned, does it follow the structure, the rule? Maybe, but it's
No,
not.
the verb is after the itself, the reflective pronoun.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. Good. See? So there it is. So it's
There
only
is no other way to write it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. Perfect. So it's the only correct answer. Kitten cleaned itself. So let's get one last one. So let's see. Who am I gonna call on? Actually, anyone can answer this then. We cook the meals.
We cook the meals ourselves.
Yep. Yep. We cook the meals ourselves. Oops. And that's the best one. That's the best one because it'll be right. We cooked ourselves the meals. That's all. This is correct, but it's not used. No one really says we cooked ourselves the meals. It's we cooked the meals ourselves. That's the more common usage. So yeah, that's great. So now we're gonna talk about plurals. I don't know if you've learned this, but this is just kind of going with the just a simple kind of when it's more than one of whatever. So just a plural of whatever. So for example, a cup. Anyone can tell me what the plural of that is? Do you know? So does everyone know what a plural is? I should ask that first.
Plural is the word used when there is more than one object.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So, for example, a cup. What do you say when there's a cup?
Cups.
Exactly. So, cups. A cloth.
Clothes.
No.
Clothes. ES.
No es. Cloth. This is cloth. You say cloths, like different cloths. So like a cloth is like maybe like a towel, right? You would say cloths. It wouldn't be clothes in this case. Clothes is something different because the only time you use really the es is when at the end there's either s or a vowel. We'll get to more examples, but cloths is the best one. So for toothbrush, all right, toothbrush,
Brushes.
toothbrushes, yes. Compass,
Compasses.
Compass.
Compass.
compasses. A torch,
Torch.
Torches.
Torches.
torches, yeah. So that's another es one. So boot, is this the es one or no?
Boots.
Yeah, so we say boots, right? We wouldn't say that. That doesn't, it's just boots. Uniform,
Uniforms.
Uniform.
okay. Tomato.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
So is that es or no es?
Tomatoes. ES.
Good. A box.
Boxes.
Boxes.
So is that es or
Boxes.
no es? Is that es or no es?
ES.
Yes.
Yes. Boxes.
And then how do you say this word?
Vases.
Vases.
So actually, I think that I'm not sure if in British English it's vase, but in American English you say vase.
We usually use vase
Vase?
in
Okay.
Sri Lanka. Yes, we don't purely use British English. We use a little bit of American English as well.
Okay.
So we pronounce it as vase. I pronounce it as vase.
Okay. So yeah, typically we pronounce it as vase. So just that. So can everyone say the plural of vase?
Vases.
There you go, vases. All right. So everyone got that?
Yes, teacher.
I think that was more of just the easier one. Let's see. I see that Life Lift is here. I don't know if they have something to say, because I think that was all we kind of went through the material much faster than I thought. I didn't have much else planned. You can do it more. We can do a talking exercise. That's okay, John. So thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for teaching fast.
Of course.
Bye. Bye. See you guys next week.